Hi. Have you ever heard the term government cheese? Well, if you had, I wouldn't be surprised. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if you hadn't either. Because, as you can see from this here pie chart, 50% of my classmates said that they had heard about it, 50% said that they hadn't. Well, let me just go ahead and say, my name is Eli Allen, and I'm about to tell you all about it. It all started during the height of World War II, when the U.S. government was sending supplies like food and other rations across to different European countries. This required a great increase in the amount of dairy. We had to rev up dairy production because we had an increase of dairy consumption. Well, before this, we had never really had a dairy industry. It was never profitable enough. Well, now we did. So we started the dairy industry. This was a great thing up until it wasn't. Because in the 1960s, the dairy market crashed severely. And to get away from this crash, somebody stepped in to help the farmers recover. This person was none other than Uncle Sam, aka the U.S. government. Uncle Sam was responsible for subsidizing the dairy market. He told them that, you can't sell your milk, I'll buy the milk to make sure the dairy market doesn't go under, to make sure that it does not crash. And in doing this, Uncle Sam created a butterfly effect, a really big one, in fact, because after the subsidization, that's a hard word, the mountain increased more and more because, well, you can't really store milk, but you can store cheese. That's what they did. So they started storing cheese in these Missouri caves. It was costing millions of dollars in refrigeration every day. No one knew about this besides the government. No one at all, to my knowledge. Well, it just kept getting passed down farther and farther down the line. They just kept kicking the can down the road for it to be somebody else's problem. Until Reagan comes along. When President Ronald Reagan gets inaugurated, one of the first things that he learns about is that, hey, Mr. President, we have a stockpile of cheese in a cave in Missouri, and we're spending millions of dollars a day refrigerating it. And Reagan was kind of like, why do we need this? So Reagan comes up with a plan to get rid of this cheese, because, we don't need to spend all this money on it. Let's throw it in the river. Better yet, let's throw it in the ocean. Thankfully, someone from Reagan's administration decided that might not be the best idea. The administration thought that it would, and then they thought that it wouldn't. It was a little bit here and there. Well, they ended up meeting with the public, and the public did not like that idea. They thought that since they had paid taxes for the last 40 years on this cheese, then they should at least get the cheese. Mind you, this has been running since the 40s. This is 81. So, what does the administration do? For the remainder of Reagan's term, they start cutting up these 55-gallon drums of cheese and sending them in 5-pound blocks to these economically disadvantaged areas. School systems, elderly homes, this distribution begins. And it was a great thing. The distribution ran from 1981 until the mid-1990s. Everyone had heard about government cheese by that time. And mind you, I said it ran until the 90s, and we had billions and billions of pounds. I'm really not sure how many we had. But something happened in the 90s where we seemingly ran out of cheese. After all of those billions of pounds, we just ran out. And all of the excess cheese that was left was all privately owned. What happened? The government never really stopped. They stopped buying up the milk too. They didn't have to buy the milk. The dairy market was profitable again. What happened? Well, that would be none other than the Got Milk campaign. That might be a bit of a curveball you weren't looking for, but it's true. The Got Milk campaign was started just mere months before the distribution slowly dwindled. Mind you, distribution is still kind of going on today, I guess, but it's nothing like it was. Everyone knew about this. It's kind of a thing of the past. Well, Got Milk comes along, and they have encouraged the American population to drink more milk. And in doing this, the government doesn't have to buy up as much milk, so they don't have this cheese. The dairy market's profitable. Everybody's winning. It was a great thing. And that is how government cheese slowly dwindled. So now I may ask you, have you ever heard the term government cheese? Well, if you hadn't before, or if you had, now you know all about it. And it may seem like a lot. I know. But the way I see it is in the hypothetical scenario that there's ever an explosion. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what could happen in an underground facility like that. But if there's ever an explosion, great enough. There's a greater than 0% chance that one of these facilities would turn into a cheese volcano. My name is Eli Allen, and I thank you for your time. And I'm just going to go ahead and state my sources. I used Inside the Missouri Cheese Caves by the Science Times, published in 2023. I also used Yes, the Government Really Does Stash Billions of Pounds of Cheese in Missouri Caves by Modern Farmer, published in 2022. And I also used Cheese Caves and Food Surpluses, Why the Government Currently Stores 1.4 billion pounds of cheese, the FarmLink Project. No date.